There's a moment many people recognize instantly. You walk into your home, close the door, set your things down, and something changes quietly. Your shoulders drop, your breathing deepens, your thoughts slow down. Nothing dramatic happened. You didn't escape anything, you simply became alone, and in that quiet moment, a subtle feeling appears. This is when I finally feel like myself. Not lonely, not disconnected, just fully present. So why does solitude feel like a return instead of an absence? When you're alone is surprisingly common, but it's often misunderstood. From the outside, people assume it means you're antisocial, withdrawn, avoiding connection. But internally, the experience feels very different. It feels like clarity instead of confusion, calm instead of pressure, authenticity instead of adjustment. And that difference tells us something important. This isn't about rejecting people, it's about returning to a stable sense of self. Humans don't have just one identity. We have multiple versions of ourselves, depending on context. Researchers call this self-concept flexibility, the mind's ability to adapt behavior to different social environments. In social settings, we naturally adjust our tone, our expressions, our attention. Even in healthy, comfortable relationships, this adaptation happens constantly. You monitor how you sound, how you're perceived, how others respond. Not consciously, but continuously. And over time, that subtle adjustment creates a feeling like you're slightly outside yourself. Solitude removes that. Psychologist Reed Larson from the University of Illinois conducted extensive research on solitude in adolescents and adults. His studies found something surprising. When people spend time alone by choice, not isolation, but voluntary solitude, they report higher self-reflection, greater emotional clarity, stronger identity awareness. In one of his longitudinal studies, Larson observed that individuals who regularly engaged in intentional alone time developed more stable self-concepts over time. Not weaker, stronger. Because solitude allows the mind to process experiences without external influence. It's not an escape from identity, it's where identity consolidates. Solitude the same way. For some people, their attention naturally extends outward. They're perceptive, emotionally attuned, responsive to subtle cues. Psychologists refer to this trait as high environmental sensitivity, studied extensively by researcher Elaine Aron. Her work shows that highly sensitive individuals process social stimuli more deeply. They notice tone shifts, micro-expressions, unspoken expectations. This isn't anxiety, it's awareness, but that awareness requires energy, and solitude is where that energy replenishes. Solitude feels like authenticity is the absence of social performance. Performance doesn't mean pretending, it simply means managing impressions. Every social interaction involves small adjustments, choosing words carefully, monitoring reactions, maintaining appropriate emotional tone. Psychologist Irving Goffman described this as presentation of self, the natural way humans manage how they appear in social settings. It's normal, necessary, and constant. But it requires effort. When you're alone, that effort stops. No one is watching, no one is interpreting, no one is responding. And without that invisible stage, your mind settles into its natural bed. Neuroscientific research helps explain this further. Studies using fMRI scans have shown that when people enter restful solitude, a network in the brain, called the default mode network, becomes more active. This network is associated with self-reflection, autobiographical memory, identity, processing. In simple terms, it's the system that allows you to think about yourself as a continuous person over time. In busy social environments, this network quiets. In solitude, it reactivates. That's why being alone often feels like catching your breath mentally, because your brain finally has the space to process your own internal narrative. If you feel most like yourself when you're alone, it doesn't mean you prefer isolation. Your mind needs periods of uninterrupted alignment. Solitude isn't emptiness. It's where your thoughts reorganize, where your identity steadies, where your internal voice becomes audible again. Some people don't disappear when they're alone. They return. From the outside, this need for solitude can look confusing. Others may interpret it as either distance or disinterest, or emotional withdrawal. But psychologically, it's none of those things. It's regulation.